Well, coffee time, friends. How y'all doing? It's coffee time, and it's supper time. Mama, what are we eating? Beef tips and noodles. Did you forget?
Yeah. I had different things on what was going to fix.
Mama? It's been a long day, honey.
Yeah. Had a little rough one.
How's it been rough?
Just where I can't bend and do nothing until I go rest.
No, you're just aggravated. You're healthy, though.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go down here to the chore board and check this out. Mama, what kind of meat is this?
It's a sirloin steak.
Sirloin. We got on sale. It's thin.
It's called sandwich sirloin.
Sandwich sirloin. Mama has boiled it today. Got all this wonderful broth over here in this pot. It's as tender as your eyeball. As you can see, I'm just cutting it gently with this knife. We're going to have beef tips and noodles. Now, you can use stew beef. You can use a loin or whatever you want to, or you can use something just like this.
I was looking for stew beef in the freezer, and I didn't find it. I thought it can't be in much, so I found that, and I said, it'll do.
Look at that beautiful broth. That's all beef broth. It was just cooked in filtered water, and this beef was put right in there and done. Now I'm going to add to that simply this. This is just a Markham. This is our store brand, and just a pork gravy. Use any kind of brown gravy you want to. Beef and pork get along fine in a pot. It's just your, I better use that one, a little coating. It's just brown gravy. Let's come over here. So I'm going to take this package, and I'm just going to stir it in there. You want to stir as you go so it don't lump and clump and knot up. Ain't that right?
Yeah.
So this is what I put in there. Right in that gravy. Look how beautiful. And this is on high. This is on high. And it should start doing its thing there. Now that's got a thickening agent in it. It should thicken just right. You don't want it terribly thick for noodles. And the noodles are in the microwave in a Tupperware noodle pasta maker. I thought, Lord, it ain't noodle. What's wrong I'm saying? I'm just going to put this meat that I've just sort of diced up a little bit here. Let it be doing its thing.
You want to save that piece for your breakfast? I don't think we need it all in there.
How much you think we need in there?
Look at it.
You think it's a plenty for supper?
Yeah.
Well, we'll have a couple pieces for breakfast. That's a good thinking, Mama. That's another meal out of a good price on meat.
Well, looking nice.
Oh, I agree with you. That was a big old plate full. We don't want leftovers. We're doing anti-leftover. Anti-trying to not have leftovers because we don't eat them as well as we should. Now, they're good to have for lunch, and I'm not against leftovers. I'm not one of the people, I don't eat leftovers. It's just, if we put them in there, I sent a little clip of that on Facebook, and it kind of made me ashamed. It said, of course, we would never throw away perfectly good food. We will put that in the refrigerator and save it for 2 weeks and then throw it away later. I don't want it to waste. I do not want it to waste. But we lose leftovers, even though we have clear Tupperware containers in there. It's just, we cook something different for supper, and then we think, we'll eat that another time, or I'll take that for lunch, or something else comes up for lunch. And it's just...
You like steak with your eggs. That would be good in the morning.
I like that. But this is going to come to a boil here in just a second. Go, Mama, go. Go.
Yeah.
Go.
It's a lot in there. It's a good one.
It'll
May have
thicken.
to add a little punch.
No, if we do, we can put a little pasta water in it. That'll thicken it. Now, Mom, when you get ready, that's done, I'll get it out there.
Oh, it's not his.
It's still stretching up there over that head and carrying out. So this is simple, folks. If you like beef tips and noodles or anything like this, a pasta dish, go for it. This is delicious, and it's a one pot wonder, one hit wonder. Good times.
It's not heavy, honey.
Oh, Mom. It's not heavy. It might be awkward.
That's rather not. It may
It's
not-
long.
It may not be done.
Okay.
That's hot.
Which one?
The first one over there.
They look a little done. Let me look at them. Let me check it out. They may be done for me, but not for you. They're al dente. Al dente noodle. Okay. We'll stick them in there a few more minutes. This needs to bubble and brew anyway. Bubble and brew. I didn't put any bouillon in this. I had it laid out here, but that gravy mix will be plenty. We've not added any salt to it.
I put
Did you put salt in the meat? She put
Salt,
salt and pepper in the meat when she boiled it today. So, we're going to wait on the noodles. So, let's chat. What are y'all up to? And let's have us a cup of coffee. You ever have those days you think, boy, I need a cup of coffee. I don't care what time it is. Oh, that's so good. This is y'all's brand breakfast blend. I love it. I love the house blend most of the time of the evening, but this was something that I had perked this morning.
You want these green beans to eat with that or just the
I don't want anything.
I didn't.
Here we go again, neglecting some leftovers. But this is y'all's brand breakfast blend. I didn't make any new this evening. I had a carafe full because I didn't have time to linger over coffee this morning. I had to be gone. But it's still delicious. I don't care who you are. If you're interested in y'all's brand coffee, I recommend them. We are associated with them, but that is not the reason I'm telling you that. If I didn't like it, I would tell you. Their coffee's good, their tea's good, flat out. Go to their site, type in our code, which is John, John, capital letters. When you get ready to check out, they'll give you 10% off site-wide whether you buy a t-shirt, a picture, tea, coffee, whatever it is, with that code, John, capital letters, all capital letters. It's easy as that. Just for watching on Facebook. That's your treat for just watching on Facebook. So, love the coffee. Delicious. Mama's got a huge tomato crop coming in. There it is.
Oh, that was earlier. This is the others.
Oh, you had some more? Oh, it is huge.
This is what I got this evening.
I feel like we're living in miniature land.
Miniature.
One banana pepper. And those are today's crop. This is yesterday's crop, or this morning's crop.
Yeah.
What's going on? How come we can't get tomatoes? Everybody in the world has tomatoes. Our plants are turning yellow, but they're still got tomatoes on them green. I think that 2 weeks of rain with no sunshine delayed us for about a week. I really did. If we wasn't hearing from other people having the same situation, we would worry more. But that's the little Tommy toes.
I ain't getting hot enough pasta.
Mama, don't exceed your weight limit.
I'm not gonna do
I don't know. I think today's the day you can lift more than 10, but... Or was it a whole week?
that. A whole week.
A whole week.
A whole week's what he said. I guess that's when I go back to him Monday. He took off my restrictions.
Well, that'll work, Mama. Look at our little bowls. These come from the Dollar Plus store. They have stuff like this. That is pretty. Now, they didn't have any plates. They did have a couple of saucers. But just to have a little everyday bowl or something, that's pretty for summer. That's everything's a Dollar Tree. That's everything plus. Or they have $5 items, whatever. Is that bowling, Mama?
Yeah. The lid, what,
I'm talking about your broth.
No, it's just getting hot already, but
Going
looks like it's going to start.
We're ready to eat.
Yeah.
Noodles will be done in about 20 seconds. The broth and noodles will, or broth and beef tips will bubble and brew, and then they'll be ready to eat. And it's going to be supper time. What are y'all eating tonight? Video's having trouble. I don't understand. You know, I think I've seen other videos this week that are frozen up, that have freezing up, and they've had this repeat thing. Repeat. It's awful. I think it's a Facebook issue because these people from all over South Carolina, North Carolina, from Georgia, they're having the same problems. I don't see it here. They don't see it on their end, but their people are reporting it. I don't know. I hope it clears up, but it's not on our end. Ours is as clear as it ever has been, and everything's fine. Mama, you know better than to lift that down.
You want me to set it on there so you
No, that's hot.
on that board so you can put the noodles in the beef broth.
Whatever you're saying, I'll do it. But
Whatever I'm
this
saying.
ain't heavy. It's just awkward. It ain't at all heavy. It don't let it pound. This is the pasta maker that Tupperware has. We use this thing almost weekly. I mean, there's hardly ever a week goes by that we don't find some reason to make pasta. I know it's not the healthiest or the greatest for everything, but we use it.
Here is your, it's a boiling. I don't know if it'll keep boiling or not.
We don't have to keep boiling. It's fine. As long as it's boiled and thickened. It's not thickened much.
No.
I guess we better slurry it.
This might thicken it, the noodle broth, if you put that in.
I'll put a little bit in there, but we'll probably have to make up a little slurry. Now see, those noodles are completely done and delicious. Let's pour us a little bit of pasta water in there. A little pasta water. It's boiling too, so it should thicken. Because those natural starches are in there. Y'all use your pasta water.
I'll stir up just a little bit of that cornstarch.
You want me to stir it up?
I'll fix it in my bowl here, because I'm going to eat right out of it when we live in.
Mama says. Mama says.
Are you taking from me?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You know, I could just spoon this over in there instead of draining the water off from it, because a little more pasta water won't hurt it. These are egg noodles, just plain old egg noodles. And this is just that beef boiled in water and put a package of gravy in it. You could mix up bouillon and make your own homemade gravy if you want. However you want to do it. There's no wrong ways, there's just different ways. Someone told me on a video that I did not know how to make sausage gravy the other night. She was sorry to tell me. And I replied and told her, I proved it on the video, I can make it. And that's the way we've made it for years, and it is delicious. But folks, there's different ways to do everything. Don't ever get it in your head that your way is the only way, because it's not. Whether it's the way you've always done it, the way your mommy done it, it don't make it the only way. I always be open to other people's suggestions and the way that they do things. And if you don't like it, you just don't have to like it.
Do it your way.
Do it your way. But it seems like we've had a few more rude comments and people making rude comments. I'm not going to address them. I don't care what you say. It really. But I don't want other people to have to read it. And as soon as I see them, I ban you for life. I don't want to hear from you again. I don't want you back on here again. I want you to go somewhere else and watch something else that makes you happy. because that's what it's all about. Be happy. If this upsets you and makes you sad, we don't want to do that. I did not ban the person who said I couldn't make gravy. But if it's a negative, if it's something nasty, something just, I'm going to go out of my way to make you feel bad or say something negative. I ain't putting up with that stuff. That's ridiculous. This is our page. If you can't find us, you can't get on here and you think, well, I did say that nasty thing the other day, you know you've been banned. Even if you find us again through another way, just don't come back. We don't need you. We're about positive uplifting. We want to uplift each other. We want to uplift our friends that are on here. This is a family reunion. Our page is a family reunion every night. And that's what we want to be, because we think y'all is family. And my mama don't like this. We really ain't big. We think y'all is family. We consider y'all when we're shopping. When we go out, we consider, what can we make for coffee time family? What can we do for this? So if you think they're just on there and they sell some Tupperware and they do this, no. That's just this mama's side gig. Everybody has a side gig anymore. You know, all my friends, we were laughing the other day, but everybody I know's got a side gig. They're baking something, they're making something, they're doing tumblers, they're doing this. It's just fun. It's just exciting. It gets you out with more people and enjoyable. It's a good thing. It's a good thing, and that's great. Mama's little tomato harvest here. Here's the biggest one we got.
The what?
Rudolph, the tomato nose.
Those are the tomatoes.
I love
There's
tomatoes.
some of the others getting pinkish.
I love tomatoes. They'll be here. Folks, we had 3 weeks here with no sun. We had 2 weeks of rain and 3 weeks of no sun. If it's a little delayed, and that's a month, folks. That's a month if you think about it.
Talking about it then.
I dropped a piece of tomato in my bowl. It was a little green piece. It's been delayed by a month, so that ain't bad. I made hamburger gravy over mashed potatoes. Now, ooh, I love that. Tracy, you did good.
I think this looks like what you want it to be. If it's not, we'll stick it back on there.
That looks exactly perfect, Mama, as usual. You did a perfect job. Look at that, folks. Now, my mama can cook. Look at that. Those are beef tips and noodles. Homemade. Yeah, I use a little bit of gravy mix, but so what? It's still homemade. Look at that.
Well, I didn't brown them like I usually do, or I wouldn't have to use this.
Oh, the meat, you boiled it instead of browning it, yeah.
Yeah, I browned
This
it.
is to perfection. Now, I'm not trying to starve Mama out. Some of y'all get a little sideways. We do. This is how we eat. So we'll put us a little in here. Just a teensy little bit. That's it. Now, she can have all this kiddo will hold if she wants it. But it's so hot we can't eat it. So we spend 20 minutes waiting for it to cool.
I moved you. Bad.
We spent 20 minutes waiting for it to cool. So we learned, put you a little bit out, let it cool. It's like saucer and coffee. It's hot, put you a little bit out, let it cool. You'll be ready to eat, and you can, time you go back for a little bit more, it will cool down a little bit. It says, I had McDonald's cheeseburger. That's perfectly fine, Marsha. Every once in a while, running through a drive-thru is a great supper. Get it done, eat it, and go home. And
if this tastes exactly as good as it smells, it'll be
it smells
good.
delicious, doesn't it, Mom?
Yeah.
Well, let's release it, and you can get to eat.
Okay.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this meal. We thank you for the nourishment of our bodies. We thank you that Mama's eyes doing good. We thank you for answering all the prayer requests that are out there, dear Lord. And we just ask you to answer any more that may have come in. You know the pain and the hurting. And Lord, you have the answers. And Lord, we pray for each and every one who feels the need to be negative or say things. Lord, we know they're hurting. We know there's something wrong. We know their hearts are just not in the love mode, dear Lord. We just pray that all that will change. And dear Lord, we just ask you to be with our country, be with our leaders, be with the people all around the world. Put a hedge of protection on our children. In your name we pray. Amen. Okay, Mama. You get to be the deciding uh-huh or uh-uh.
No.
Y'all want to buy it? You don't have to use beef tips. Beef tips aggravate me a little bit when I'm trying to brown them and get them turned, and so I kind of like this flat meat bowl in it and brown it just a little bit.
Mm.
Wow. What do you think, Mom?
It tastes good. What I can taste is hot. Really hot.
It tastes delicious.
It's got a good flavor to it.
It really does.
It's a little bit hot.
It's a little hot. That's the reason we just do a little portion. We'll come back for some more. You can have thirds or fourths if you eat this way. And you don't even have to feel bad about it. How's y'all's flowers doing? How's them hanging baskets? I want to talk hanging baskets with you. I'm a little burnt out with them. I'm thinking I'm not doing them anymore. Whatever they're using in these nurseries, and no matter where you buy them from, it seems like they come from the same kind of stuff. The dirt is so little dirt and so much of whatever else. They don't hold water. And mine have, I water all the time. You all know that. I've chickens out there and watered with me so much since we're tired of looking at that. But I do water. And the petunias are getting long and spindly, and I don't blame it on the people I bought them from, because they buy them from a nursery and they're beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Oh, they're beautiful when we got them.
But I can't keep them. I don't have it. Mama and I have always had pretty good green thumbs. I've been known to bring them back from the dead, Lazarus style. You know, they'll be brown, crispy, and I'm thinking, that may be a ray of hope in there, and I'll put a little water in it. I may take it out and rinse the roots off and repot it and bring them out sometimes. Mama had an orchid here for 2 or 3 years, and it bloomed, and it stayed, and I thought, nobody can do that with an orchid. Mama does. But I'm just having trouble out of them. And Mama and I were out there on the porch the other evening, and I said, next year, I'm just going to go with ferns and forget it. They do hold up. Birds do build nests in them, and they shed a little bit. But at least they're pretty. As long as I keep them watered, they're great.
Yeah.
But year before last, we had trouble with our ferns. And last year we did have no trouble. And I'll tell you the secret I found. So year before last, I just bought beautiful ferns to start with. And I had to water, and they dried out. And I had to wait. One day when I threw them, of course, they was completely dry. I just dumped them out of the pot. And I put a baby diaper in the bottom of each one of them and filled it full, and that baby diaper holds water, and it kind of brought them back. Last year, I bought the cheap little ferns. Just the little, what do they call them?
I don't know. The Boston
The
fern?
10-inch, or not?
Oh, 8-inch.
8-inch fern. They were little. They were about that big, the fern. And I made my own dirt up from potting soil, and I planted them on the hanging pot. And literally within 2 weeks, they were bigger. I mean, they were come out. And by the end of summer, they were touching the banisters. They grew quick, didn't they, Mama?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my new thing. I'm going to go with that. Next year, I'm going to buy a simple little fern. I'm not going to buy the big old. I used to buy the huge ones. They are pretty day one. But something's wrong with that. Whatever they're doing. Hello, everyone. I made chicken stir fry tonight for supper. Cindy, that sounds good. So I've decided I'm not going to be drawn in this next year unless they do something different with the dirt. Somebody out there who knows something about it, tell me, what do you do? How do you keep beautiful hanging baskets?
Tomorrow morning, I'm going to give them a dose of
Miracle Grow.
Miracle Grow and see if it'll help everything.
Two of the hanging pots I gave up, and I just put them out on the sidewalk and kept them watered, but they didn't look pretty enough to hang. It rained all night the other night hard. I was out there the following afternoon at 5, And they were dry as a chip, like they'd never seen a drop of water. And I know they had to get plenty of water. Now the pot sitting next to them was good and damp because it had dirt in it. And I know those had water. So what do y'all do?
Are they telling me? I can't see it.
My mother-in-law used to grow huge ferns. Yeah, we have too in the past. Used to, you could buy huge ferns and they stayed pretty year round. Past 5 years, I've had trouble with them off and on. I've had trouble keeping them wet. I've had trouble, and I do the mist and all that. I used to even bring them in and put them in the shower and turn the hot water and let them mist like they tell you to. But I'm telling you, they hard to keep alive. Now the ones we put in pots with our own dirt, even we bought them from the same places, they're doing fine. It's the pre-hanging ones that you don't break up and do yourself. I saw somebody on one of the social medias the other day, and they buy hanging baskets and break them up and put them in pots, and they have good luck out of them. But you want something hanging on your porch. Mama wanted bloomers this year hanging on her porch.
Yeah, I did.
She wanted red, bright red. So we went with that. But she's been over it too, ain't you?
Yeah, I really am.
We've had trouble.
Well, I've been till I couldn't. You've been taking care of it. I couldn't help you get them. I couldn't get up there and lift them and reach them.
Well, I've been watering them.
I know it.
But
You've
it's
done
just
good,
not showing. What do y'all think?
Are they giving you hints?
Don't ferns like shade? Timmy, they do. And on our porch, they get a little burst of morning sun and then they get shade the rest of the day. Put Epsom salt. I had done that before. I use tea water. Ooh, tea water. Like your tea bags. Now, we have done that before. And I use coffee grounds in them to hold the moisture too.
You watered them with coffee water even, didn't you?
I made coffee water. I've been watching you in the way from you. Let's see. Who's over here? Well, hello, Bob. Thank you for watching. Hey, Nancy. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Rihanna. So do y'all do ferns? Is that now? I've noticed in most places in the South, it's just a Southern thing. Everybody has some ferns on their porch, and I see why now. We've always gone with ferns for the most part, haven't you, Mama?
Mm-hmm.
But Mama said, I want some bright colors. And I like the bright colors, but boy, they hard to
They
keep.
were pretty for a while.
They was, but it just don't hold the water. Folks, try these beef tips and noodles. If you can come up with a better supper, easier, please share it with me. I'd love to know what it is, because this is simply make you some noodles. Now, I wouldn't recommend putting my noodles in my beef broth, because you talk about thick, it'll get thick. I would
It gets starchy, tasty too.
do your noodles separate, and that way you have that more of that powerful beef flavor in there. Huh. That noodle stuck for good. There he went. All right, folks. Thank you for the help. I'll try Epsom salt. And I will try some coffee water.
Tea water, let's see.
Tea water. Yeah, I did try coffee. I'll try some tea water. Thank you, Barbara. We love having you here. Hi, John and Momma. My hanging baskets have always watered nightly and let the hose soak the dirt too. Yeah, I do that too, Brandy. I water them and let it go all the way through and let it pour out on the flowers below. I mix Epsom salt with water in a bucket and submerge. Oh,
Some what?
Okay. Now, when next year I'll remember that, Joni. She says she mixes Epsom salt with water in a bucket and submerge the fern in the buckets for a good soak. I like that, Joni. I'll do that next time. I do know Epsom salt's great on tomatoes and Epsom salt's great on plants. Roll on. Mary, you have a blessed night too. Hey y'all, hey Vicky. 2 teaspoons in a gallon of water. Epsom salt's Marcia. Hey Connie.
2 teaspoons?
That's what she said. Or capital tablespoons. Tablespoons. My video is great. Thank you, Terry. Hey Mama and John, how are y'all? Come back. How are y'all? How is your mama? Your dinner looks yummy. Thank you. Nancy, her eye's much better. She said today it was clearer and better than it had been, and yesterday was a little better. So now she's on the upward trend of thinking every day's going to get a little better.
Yeah, it's still blurry and fuzzy a little, but
how many fingers am I holding up, Mama?
3.
Okay, we're
good.
See
that.
Okay. Oh, Frances Hunter, we will be praying for you. Everybody give Frances some love. Let her know we support her. She's in the hospitals. For Frances, we are going to be praying for you, and everybody else will be too. Hey, Sue. Look at that little smiley face. Yep, Epsom salt is the way to go. Okay, Whitney. You know, I don't know why I do this stuff. I knew about Epsom salts, but I hadn't thought about it this year. I thought, there's got to be something I can do with them plants. Hi, Debbie. Anyhow, folks, thanks for the advice. We'll use it, and you just keep adding comments on there, and I'll look at them later on. That'll be wonderful. Are we freezing up? I think it's a Facebook thing. I watched some things last night. You know, I follow people too. We follow people just like you all follow us. And several of them was having trouble, and one of them was on a repeat cycle, and I thought, that's weird. And they were saying, oh, I'm freezing up. And they were like we were. They couldn't see us. We don't look freezing. I thought, that's exactly what we're having a problem with. Mama, your phone. Somebody's won't talk to you.
I know it. I'll call them right back in just a second.
We'll go and let Mama get her peeps. Somebody's calling her. Y'all have a blessed evening. It's Thursday. If you're off on the weekend, you got one more day. Y'all can do it. You think, oh, I can't do one more day. Yeah, you can. We can do it. Get you some coffee in the morning. Y'all's coffee.
Get up and get going.
Get up and get going. We can do one more day. If you're, maybe your weekend is not in a day. Maybe you're on day 1. You can do it.
Yeah.
Thus, the years go by so quickly. If you look back, the weeks had to be quickly to seem long. My granny used to say, the days is long, but the years is short. And I think,
that's right.
Granny, that don't add up. But I was a young little whippersnapper.
What is it, the 13th already?
It's the 13th of July. July is almost over. Now, you probably, some of y'all still got them sparkler wires out there. And you know who you are. Now, don't act that way. You know. Them rusty sparkler wires that's out there in that bucket by your garage.
We used to have them all the time.
And it's already the 13th. 4th of July was here 2 minutes ago. And wham, it's half over. July will be half over Saturday.
I wonder why they's having the special sales for back to school clothes and school supplies. It's time for
Mama, you just drove probably 30% of our folks into a deep dark depression. Sorry, school teachers. She didn't mean to do that. Do you not remember, Mama, when you said, I wish they quit about school?
Yeah, I did. It can't be time.
Mama also used to say, let's just talk about Mama.
Oh, no, let's not talk about
So Mama used to talk about retirees. And she would say, I went to the store, like on a Friday evening. And I saw 4 or 5 people down there that's retired and could go anytime. Why on earth would you wait till Friday evening when it's busy and crowded? I'd have went Friday morning, got mine done. I wouldn't have.
went Thursday.
I'd have went Thursday. When I retire, you won't catch me down there on no Friday evening. I'll tell you that right now.
You do.
And now, every time she says, "Is it Friday?" She says, "You hush. I didn't have time earlier." I give her all kinds of. She used to say, "Everyone wants to talk about going back to school, 4th of July. I don't want to go back to August." We used to go back. What, you go back the 4th or something, or your birthday?
Yeah.
I wish people would quit telling me it's almost time to go back to school. That's depressing.
I started to have, before I retired, it was up in July, like the 22nd, 25th or something of July. I had to go back to start my meeting.
And now what have you done to everybody, Mama?
I put them in depression, he said.
Oh, how funny. Oh, Mama. I had a friend when she called herself my work wife. We sat right across from each other for years. And we got in all kinds of trouble at work. Not bad trouble, just funny. And people knew the two of us was going to be getting into some trouble. Or, you know how them two are. Or we would have celebrations or something. And it was a good time. It was a fun time. But anyway, she used to say, when I retire, I'm going to volunteer and clean houses for older people. And I'm going to volunteer at the school and read to the children.
You don't have time.
I say, you ain't going to do that. I am. I'm going to. Because I didn't want her to retire. Because I wanted her to stay and work with me. And she was retiring early. It wasn't like she was, had been there. And I'd say, you won't do none of that. And I quit saying that. You ain't going to do nothing. So don't be hard. You're going. So now every time I see her, she's been retired for years. Every time I say, you cleaning houses for old people and reading to the children? And she says, shut up. I ain't got time for that.
The time, they just ain't got the time.
Mama says, I don't know how time to work.
You get slower and slower. Takes longer to do stuff too.
Mama says, I don't know how I had time to work. I can't get what I need to do now.
That's right.
But now she keeps the roads hot.
Not no more. I've not been off the place all week.
You ain't allowed to drive.
Except to church.
I've rode her around, let her nose around in the neighbor's business. We've seen some new fences. This is a fence year.
I believe everybody's putting up fences.
Mama said, let's go see if anybody's put up a fence. And that comes because we went out on one Sunday. We skipped a few Sundays. And we was riding around the neighborhood, and somebody put up a real pretty rail fence. Mama said, how long's that fence been there?
They done it fast.
She said, wasn't we just up through here Sunday for life? I said, it's been a couple of Sundays. Lord, we got to get out more often. People's putting up fences and everything. We don't even know it. So now instead of saying, Mom, you're going to go on a Sunday drive, I said, Mom, you're going to go check and see if anyone's put a fence up. She said, let's go check the fences. But now really this year, a lot of people have put up fences. It's a fence year.
Mm-hmm. They've been pretty though.
They have been pretty fences. We enjoy it. Getting out nosing around seeing what the neighbors has done. Look, people.
Should give me synergy to do stuff, but I think I will, but when I get home, I don't do it.
People do things in their yard hoping you'll drive by and nose around. Why would they fool with it? You know, they could put a pretty flower in their backyard if they just want to look at their own flowers. You want your house to look pretty and presentable. Hang them pretty flags out. Well, if you hang a flag out and nobody ever drove by and nosed around, you'd be disappointed.
Why hang it out?
Why
Nobody
hang it out?
will see it.
Mama feels obligated. It's her duty as a fellow community person to drive around and nose.
And then if I see them in town or somewhere, I tell them how pretty everything is.
And sometimes she covetousness her neighbor's stuff.
I do that, don't I?
And I pointed out, I said, Mama, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's flower pots. Mama, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wishing wells.
I got a wishing well, I've not been coveting them much.
Mama, are you coveting thy neighbor's fur bath? I tell you that, no.
Mm-hmm. Fountains, I love
Fountains. Oh, Mama coveteth every fountain she sees.
I love fountains.
We enjoy the rides.
Yeah.
You want to go on a ride?
Not tonight.
Getting out of the house.
I ain't been out so long.
She ain't getting out. I've been out. She ain't getting out. I'll do the fence patrol for you tomorrow, Mama, and see if there's any fences out there.
Then you can take me around and see them.
These people are going to think we're crazy.
Well, we are.
Can't argue. Y'all are frozen solid. Oh, no.
Anything people do to make their homes and property looks pretty and uppity, festive, I love seeing it.
I do too. I do too. I take it.
I just wish that I was more.
Your yard looks pretty, Mama.
Well, it ain't took care of good. I mean, it's mowed good, but the flowers, I need to do a lot more stuff.
Mama, I'm the one that takes care of you flowers.
You water them, yeah, but my roses needs trimming and,
Oh, I ain't got into the rose trimmings.
and the vines needs out of it. When I can stoop again, I'll have some other excuse.
I'll work on them. I'll get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, Mama, and work on them.
No. I don't think you will. You might get up at 4 o'clock, but you ain't gonna go out and work on that.
She's
stuff.
hinting like you ain't done a good job. Now, mind you, she just had surgery Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 3 days, and the whole place has gone under because I've been in charge.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday's 4 days.
Now she's questioning my mind.
Yeah.
If you had it in good shape Sunday
to
evening,
start
Mama,
with, it wouldn't
then
be.
it would be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just be 3 days out of your domain.
I didn't have it in good shape to start with.
The flowers are fine. I'm going to go water them right now.
Mm-hmm.
It may rain. It rained a little today where I was at. Did it rain here?
No.
You just must have paid the preacher. You ever heard that? If it rains in one of your neighbor's house or somebody's
I
house,
went out with John. He come by to get some tools and stuff. And I sneezed and went on, and I wasn't out there long.
if I go after 8, if I go out after 8, it seems like it don't bother me as bad where the grass has been cut and the field's been mowed. So I try to go out a little later. Maybe the dew's falling or something. I don't know. All right, folks, we're going to go and let y'all go. Your yard is beautiful. Well, thank you, Ursula. I appreciate that vote of confidence, even though I have been in charge of the landscaping for 3 days, and the place has gone, the property value's probably gone down. This looks like a little clump of sugar. And don't forget,
sweet.
salt looks like sugar too.
I'm sweet.
You're salty tonight, Mama.
Oh, I don't mean to be salty.
You don't.
I mean to be sweet.
So you're telling me that I've let the whole front yard go down, and people probably will drive by and point and laugh.
No, the flowers is going down.
They're not going down except the hanging ones.
I know it, but we've got to do better. Or I've got to
2
do
pots. 2 hanging pots. And she thinks the whole thing is just a wash.
better. I got to get out there and do better. Just as soon as I can. When I go Monday, he'll let me drive.
I can't wait to see this yard come next Tuesday. It's going to be breathtakingly beautiful. It'll be amazing.
We better get off of me.
We'll plan on videoing outside Tuesday after Mama gets back.
I can't do it all Monday.
Y'all have a great evening. Find you something good to eat, making some memories. Argue with your mother or something. Do something fun. I'm going to go out there and water the flowers before the plant police comes by. Better Homes and Garden must have been on their way. I don't know.
See, I done laundry today and I used that crapper to put them in the dryer and to get them out of the dryer because I couldn't bend
Uh-huh.
like that. And I said, well, you'd be proud of me using this.
Well, I'm proud of you, Mama.
But I did some laundry today. But I didn't bend like that.
Well, I'm proud of you for not bending. I don't know how the dishwasher got emptied.
I emptied it, and I did bend a little, squatted bend doing it. I did empty the dishwasher.
Now, y'all know, this woman has not used the dishwasher other than canning jars for 15 years. I loaded the dishwasher the other day, ran it, and she had to unload it today before I come home.
No, I ran what was in there this morning and cleaned them up.
And ran another load.
I had slightly extra stuff to go in
These new bowls.
there. Yeah, your new buys.
You can't beat that for $1.25. I don't care who you are. That's a pretty bow.
Beautiful bowl.
It's your local Dollar Tree.
$1 and something.
Dollar plus. Folks, y'all have a good evening. Find you something good to eat. Make you some memories. Say good night, Mama.
Try you some beef and noodles. They're delicious.
They are good.
Good night, Mama, and God bless you all. Have a wonderful night and day tomorrow.
And look at your flowers. Your whole property value may have dropped. Bye, y'all.